Hey listeners, welcome to today's episode of Show Me Your Hustle. Today I am sitting down with Woody, and fun fact, both of us are in Salt Lake City, Utah. That doesn't happen very often, so excited to have a conversation in the same time zone. Woody, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're working on, and where you're at.
Yeah, well, first, excited to be here, Ashley. Utah is at a beautiful time of year. Some parts are dead, like you can see behind me, but if anyone wants to go up the canyon, they'll see all the beautiful 4 seasons of fall up there. I am working on Ask Elephant. I'm currently the founder of Ask Elephant. I started in 2023, partnered with Supered about, it feels like 9 months ago or so, and it's been one of our best friendships. You guys are truly awesome. I love working with you guys. And I love that you guys are doing something that's promoting hustle. Like, hustle itself has sometimes gotten a bad rap. And I actually think it's like, if you truly look at what hustle culture is meant to be, not always the way some people put into practice, is really, really important. And so I'm excited to tell a little bit of my story, and we can go through that. Where do you want me to start? How early do you want me to go?
Yeah, give our listeners some backstory. Like, how'd you get here? What led to this?
Well, I had a really unique childhood. I was part of a charter school, so I didn't go to a normal high school. I had 30 students in my class, so very, very small class, but we were actually on a college campus. So at 15, 16, we would go to college classes. And so we were the youngest there, and that was like a really, really early experience. But when I was 16 years old, I was sloughing a college physics class, which is kind of a funny sentence to throw together. And I actually had gotten into a longboard accident. I was longboarding on the college campus and not wearing a helmet. And the freak accident, a big enough rock was in the rain gutter as I was pulling into a parking lot. It stopped the board, but I didn't stop, and I Supermaned into a curb. Cracked my head open, ruined my childhood, which is a sad story, but it leads to lots of good things. Now that it's been 20 years since that's happened, there's a couple things that it did. One, it got me out of school, and I had to figure things out. I'm technically a high school dropout, which is kind of a funny story, but I was able to start early in my career, and I was able to start selling. So at 17 years old, a year afterwards, going through therapy and learning the basics again, I went out. I wasn't good at school anymore. I was at an accelerated learning, and I fell behind. And so I got into sales. In Utah, we have so many opportunities to go out and knock doors. So it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your background. They'll take anyone out there, and they'll ship you to a different state, and they'll let you go knock doors and sell whatever service they're selling. And so I got into sales really, really young. I was 17 years old, and I was selling.
Wow.
The next year, I loved it so much, I talked him into letting me manage a team. So I was 18 years old, and I was recruiting these kids, and I was taking them out for the summer, and I was going through sales. And so I just fell in love with hustle. I fell in love with the ability to put your full effort into something and to get the outcome that can change your life. And I went from being poor on the wrong side of the tracks, from becoming an expert at this, and been able to change my life ever since.
That's a really cool story. How was Ask Elephant born?
Right before Ask Elephant, I was building the go-to-market team for a company here called Divi. We were an expense management platform that was competing with Amex and Expensify and Concur, and we grew very, very fast. So I was over the go-to-market and all of sales and implementation, and we went from 0 to $350 million within 4 years. And so I went from 4 people on the team when I started to, we were 350 strong when we were acquired, and then I was over on that. So building out and scaling that quickly, you are forced to learn certain things because you don't have time to not have things work out.
Yeah.
And so after building that, I wanted a tool that took all of those learnings and the tool I wish I had to make it so that we could help everyone else do it. And what made Divi special was it was a free tool. So the sales team were practically SDRs. because just because we sold a client, if they didn't use it, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I fell in love with actually the implementation process of
Yeah.
adoption and helping a customer journey, which that handoff process that so many of us struggle with is from sales to CS has been broken. And
Right.
that's why I was over implementation, is because it was broken and we had to find a way to be able to like make those work together, because they usually don't. And I decided, let's create a customer experience management tool that takes it from sales, not just post sales, but actually goes early into the process and helps out sales teams turn them into customers, and then help the whole customer journey and experience through to renewals and expansion and referrals, and how to create that second brain. So that's where it
Yeah.
started, was having that problem and having to solve a handoff process, and realizing that sales teams accidentally cause problems with customer journeys, and I wanted to fix that by combining them.
It's so fun that you share that story. So I've used your product and I didn't know that story, but I can feel that heartbeat and that soul piece to how it was created now knowing that. So you totally
Good.
connected those dots. For me, it's an amazing product. What would you say has been the biggest challenge with getting Ask Elephant up and going?
For the hustlers out there that are trying to do it, honestly, the thing that I'll tell you what I did right, and then I'll tell you some of the struggles that we ran into. I actually started Ask Elephant by myself, solo. Before I had brought a co-founder on like later, 7 months later. But I honestly was like, how do we actually solve this problem? And all of those excuses you give yourself to starting
Yeah.
something, I just didn't allow myself to buy any of them.
Yeah.
And so I sold the product without a single line of code by duct taping 4 other tools together and having an intern. I had 2 interns, one overseas, one here, that were a chat bot on Slack
Oh my
pretending
gosh.
to do all of it.
That is the most hustle startup scrappy. Like,
Eh, I just wanted a way out if it didn't work. And
yeah.
so I like, we tested that out. We got it like so we had 6 customers. Even though I had 2 interns, copy and pasting parts of transcripts into Chat GPT,
Oh
like
my
two,
gosh.
and like going through these processes, which is just so funny now that the technology does all of it. But it helped us really make sure that we were connected to the customer.
Yeah.
And then we fundraised, in 2024 January, and then 2025 we raised a seed round, and that was a total of like 8 million total, like, between 2 raises, where you can, like, now the hardest part is making so that it's a full cohesive experience.
Right.
All of us work in silos. And
Yeah.
our mission is to drive human connection by breaking down those silos, which is the customer journey, so there's not those awkward cliffs.
Right.
Is hard because we want to work in silos. We
Yeah.
want to just do our job and not worry about anyone else. And so fighting that nature of like
Yeah.
of what everyone kind of pulls into is what's been really hard, because it's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is a cohesive customer experience where there isn't a handoff. The customer doesn't feel the bumpiness of a bad internal process. And Ask
Right.
Elephant, the AI that never forgets, that's the joke behind it, is meant to be that second brain and hold the customer's hand through the whole journey.
Wow. That's really powerful, really cool. Also, like the definition of scrappy. Like for any of us listening that have been at startups, if you haven't had that moment, you haven't been early enough, because definitely I'm like, I've been on calls while someone else is on Zoom, like hustling in the background to make things work. So
Yeah.
I love it. What is your favorite part? What's brought you the most joy?
Starting with the value of human, that is our first company value, is just human.
Yeah.
Has allowed us to take the hustle culture and allow it to not lose the things that we all want. And it's just been amazing to create the human connections and have the impact that I've wanted to have, where
Yeah.
it's about helping humans progress. because we are that journey platform, we wanted it not to just be for the customers, which is what people buy,
Yeah.
but to actually try to to sprinkle in those things that make the humans progress. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
notice that if I don't know if you've noticed or not, but every call has a coaching agent on it,
Yeah.
and that coaching agent actually ends with a question to
Mm-hmm.
not tell you what to do, but help you self-reflect in a way that helps you become better. And
Yeah.
the messages that I've gotten from other people reaching out of like the impact that is actually being driven by that, where they feel like they're progressing, even though we're focused on customer progression, I want it to be human progression overall. And when it works, it's really, really special. And some of the stories we've heard from customers have been my highlights.
Yeah, Matt's been talking a lot internally about the sales bull pit and what used to be the tech office, the open floor plan where you could hear each other and be like, "Hey, did you hear my call? Do you have any feedback for me?" And post, COVID and 2020, and there is a comeback to office now a little bit, but it won't be the same. So, I think right now tools like Ask Elephant, it's even more important to have those moments and that coachability because yeah, we've lost that connection.
Yeah,
So I
that's
love
it's
that.
true.
All right. What I got to talk about AI a little bit. It's like
Okay.
such the hot topic. What's your forecast for AI?
So, one, the models are going to continue to get better,
Mm-hmm.
but what's really getting better is how the models are working with the different tools and API access. They're called
Yeah.
MCPs, and the way that they're going to work together. Now, we're going to drain a ton of power. We're going to train a ton of different things, but the models themselves, I don't think we're going to see massive improvements for a little bit because what
Mm-hmm.
we're going to like there, it's already so good. The
Yeah.
big impact is going to come from how the models are being used in
Mm-hmm.
agentic workflows. And so I would, for anyone that's listening, I would really challenge themselves to look at what part of my process can I add an agentic workflow that has those little pieces that I can
Mm-hmm.
start to automate.
Yeah.
And like for a team that's at the cutting edge of technology, certain things are going to continue to get easier and easier, and they'll be able to work longer and longer processes. And so just start now. If you
Yeah.
like, and if you think that you're using Chat GPT as using AI, you're wrong. Like that's not
Yeah.
the process that
That's the
we,
new Google. That's just the new Google.
yeah.
Like,
And
exactly.
and so I think that's the forecast, and for like it will take jobs. Why? Because if your job is just a workflow, then you're going to miss out, and you're going to be replaced by those things. But
Yeah.
if you focus on the human aspect, human connection, human relationships, and how you're helping other humans progress, then that's where you should be spending your time. So anything that's not human, start to look and play with AI to start replacing it. And it can come down to very basic things like research, prepping for meetings, automating different, simple stuff. That's why people use Supered and Ask Elephant is to make so that they can focus on that. But then start thinking about bigger things. I just built an AI agent to go that is tracking there's one car that I want to buy. And so I built an agent
That's
that's
smart.
scratching the web every
Yeah.
4 hours looking for this one car
Right.
in the 4 different states. So like those are things where you're like, oh, I want to think about that. Like, no, you can build an agent that can search and monitor different things for it. I
Yeah.
have agents that monitor flights for Hawaii
Yeah,
because
I'm like,
everyone
I'm
wants to go to
trying to
Hawaii.
convince my husband to get a Dalmatian, but I can't find one in Utah and like the logistics of it. So you just meant
Let's
like,
let's build you an agent. You can build
yes.
an agent that monitors Dalmatians and not just looks for the ones in Utah, but also finds the companies that can ship them to Utah.
Yeah,
And it's like we like that is it's just it takes a ton of time. And if you use
totally.
scheduling and a longer window with the like an agent, you can really get there. I also everyone should verify the headlines they read with AI. Like news
Mm,
itself is so messy right now. I
true.
use AI to research all of the news.
Smart. I'm gonna have to tell my parents that because
Yeah.
I'm having to explain a lot lately. That's gonna save me time there too.
Yeah. It's like, hey, great, let's look this up. Like, I
Yeah,
don't trust headlines. They're all lying to you.
totally.
So,
They're clickbait.
yeah.
I love it. All right, what's your one piece of advice for someone wanting to get started?
So, one piece of advice for getting started. I'm assuming this one's common, so I'll give you two. But the first one is just get started. There's no reason not to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking something has to be perfect before it gets started is what's preventing you from getting started. I started literally with getting them inviting me, adding me as a user to their tools, and adding me as someone in Slack. And I just titled it Ask Elephant. Technically, I titled it Elephant at the time. We weren't Ask
I
Elephant, we were
mean,
just Elephant.
you are a little walking elephant, super cute. So
Thanks. Like like you just have to get started.
yeah.
And so every aspect of it, it's just like whatever excuses you're lying to yourself, it really is a lie. So just get started. You can start by just doing something, and remove yourself from your house. Don't do it somewhere where there's distractions. Turn off your phone and just say, I can go home when blank. And like, I just locked myself in a room, and I can go home once I have a client. And yes, I did sleep at the office because I missed a goal one night. And it's like,
I love it.
but that's like, you just have to put yourself to
Those
a
boundaries
standard, and don't go home till it's done. And so if you have to sleep there, sleep there. Like, but say, I will not go home till this thing happens. And then you know what you're motivated to do? To go home. So go get it done so you can go home.
Yeah. I love it. All right, Woody. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.